Welcome, everybody, to Moose Milk Podcast, episode 16. Sweet 16! How are we this old already? I'm your host, Ryan, waiting for Matt to join us. But thanks for coming on a nice Friday night. We're going to be talking Falcon Winter Soldier, episode 6, the finale. There will be spoilers, so definitely don't watch the episode if you haven't watched the episode. And we're going to talk that. We're going to talk the Shang Chi trailer. We're going to probably talk about what we're doing in the next couple weeks, even though we kind of discussed it briefly last week. And we're going to try to push this over an hour just to see if Instagram finally lets us go over the hour mark. So tonight, just to see what's happening. There we go. Matthew.
What up, son?
What's going on, buddy?
Not much, man. How are you?
I'm good. How was your cereal?
It was delicious.
What is your cereal of choice?
You can't ask that kind of question. That's a crazy question. That's a crazy question to just drop on somebody.
That's an obvious question.
Not for me. I'm a big cereal lover. Okay, so if we're talking favorite cereal of all time,
yes,
Count Chocula, 100% for sure. But
are you even sure we're friends?
Dude, we never have really been that. We haven't had that. Because I'm a super crazy sweet tooth, and you are not a sweet tooth.
Chocolate cereal? Come on.
It's good. It's got marshmallows, dog.
Number one is clearly Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I was just going to say, if you're asking about what I'm on to right now, it's Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Although right now I just ate Frosted Flakes, but I have Cinnamon Toast Crunch in the pantry also.
Number two is Mini Wheats.
I also love Mini Wheats.
Number three is Life cereal.
Yeah.
Shit's delicious.
Yeah, it's good. I like Chex better. Here's everybody listening to us talk about cereal. I also
welcome to the podcast. That's the end of the podcast. Our friendship has ended.
Everyone is in and everyone is out. They're like, yep, if we wanted to talk about Mini Wheats, we would have talked to our grandmas.
We wanted two old men talking about cereal. We would have went to the fucking Legion down the street.
Oh, shit. If you see me fiddling with stuff here, I right before we got on here, I'm gonna turn my Wi-Fi off. Hang on.
Yeah, do you?
There we go. Yeah, the Wi-Fi is a piece of shit here. Yeah, if you see me fiddling, it's only because I accidentally applied too much super glue to this crotch.
As you do.
As I do. And if I don't keep moving it, they're gonna fuse together and ruin it, basically. So I'm just over here manhandling this crotch.
I would expect no less.
I know you wouldn't. You know me too well.
We should discuss the episode rather than cereal and crotches. There will be spoilers, so anybody that hasn't watched the finale of Falcon Winter Soldier, bounce down.
Let us ruin it for you.
Or let us ruin it for you.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen, if you're not up to date on Falcon Winter Soldier, just stick around, and we're just going to tell you all about it.
Here's our usual
dodgy.
Super glue your crotch to your own legs and fiddle with yourself while you watch us.
That's what I'm doing. Except it's not myself; it's a Warpath body. But
that's fair.
I made this cool Sabretooth head yesterday that's too big, but I'm still going to go with it anyway.
That's fair. Oh, yeah, that's good, man.
I think I like it.
What did you think of the episode?
I liked it. I didn't think it was amazing, but I liked it. There were parts that I liked.
Yeah.
There were parts that I was just kind of whatever on. And yeah, I don't know. I thought it did a good job wrapping up the story. And a lot of the storylines. I think there were some pretty lazy parts too. But I mean, yeah, for the most part, I liked it. I think it was hard to have like all the action at the beginning again. It was like the same as last episode where it's like action heavy in the front, and then as it goes to the end, it gets like lighter and lighter, and it's just like, you know, I get that that's the way it has to be, right, to kind of tell the story. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I did like it. I'd be lying if I said I didn't like it. But I
liked it.
Yeah.
But I found it rushed everything way too fast.
Yes, me too. Big time.
There's no limit to what they can do with the episode. There is no time limit. There is no episode limit. So why did we have to push 95 minutes worth of material into a 50-minute episode? It just didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
I felt like it didn't get what it wanted to accomplished. And I love the aspect of, again, spoilers. I don't want to ruin anything, so spoilers.
If you're here and listening to this, you are fucked if you haven't watched the show.
I loved Falcon becoming Captain America, but even that, I felt it missed the mark. It didn't hit the heart the way I wanted it to. I felt like the very beginning it should have showed him kind of putting on the uniform and what that meant to him, and have that like, emotional impact, and have it already him having it on and like flying into the battle. I kind of just felt like it missed that emotional punch.
Yeah. Hey, so before we dive into this too deep, what are your thoughts on the suit?
I love the suit. I think the face mask kind of looked weird on him, and I think I would have done something different with that, like the goggle type face piece. I felt it looked weird on him, but
it's very like 90s style, comic book style, right? Like it
didn't feel high tech enough for what I wanted it to achieve. And they kind of showed off some of his like tech equipment built into his suit.
That was cool.
Episode. Yep. And it was cool, but like it just didn't feel like it was like a Wakandan suit. Like
Sure.
I really wanted it to hit the emotional marks as the like action marks, and I just felt like it didn't cross that threshold for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Not that it was a bad episode though. Like I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I liked it too.
It was a solid 7 to 8 out of 10 for me, and not.
That's what that's like pretty much exact. I said 7.5. 7.5 out of 10 if I had to rate it.
It pushed too much into an hour. There's nothing that particular hour that felt resolved and done well enough where I felt like, oh yeah, that was done. I like that.
Satisfying enough of an answer. Yeah.
Satisfying is the exact right word.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I feel like maybe it's going to take them some time to kind of figure that out the best way. Because, I mean, the thing is like, when you look at this season, it was 6 episodes. And, like, really, like, not a whole lot really happened in that time frame. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, and like, I feel like, you know, like, I used, like, John. And I know the story is not about John, like, Walker. Right. Like, but, like, you know, I use him as a good example of that. Is like in we meet him in the end of episode 2, right? Or end of episode 1?
Yeah.
So we get 5 episodes with him. In 5 episodes, he goes from weird kind of dude to like good guy to bad guy to good guy to like crazy guy. And it's just like, I feel like it's like he moved around. He never stayed in one position for so long that like I could like get to know that character, I felt like. And it's like, even though at the end, like of how this one ends, where he like kind of chooses the right path, I won't really go down that right this second here.
He doesn't. That was my problem with it.
But
that was my problem with it, is he didn't choose the right path. We never got that moment where we go, oh, he is a good guy.
I got that.
He tried to do it a little bit with rescuing the people out of the.
That totally did it for me. Like to me, he was redeemed to me at that point.
To me, it missed the mark completely, and like
I never weird how that happens. Like
I never felt that like he's running through the tunnels with Winter Soldier, and I'm like, why isn't Winter Soldier beating the shit out of this dude?
Yeah, I mean, like to me, like when you saw that conflict, when they show him and he's kind of like, you know, trying to get his shit together and be like, all right, like, you know, that's what I'm here for, is that fucking bitch right there.
Yeah.
But then these people are all gonna die if I decide that that's the way I'm gonna go. Am I like, is this actually what I'm gonna do here? And it's like, It was when he actually did it, like I actually got goosebumps. It wasn't the most emotional part of the movie of the episode for me, but it was definitely up there, because like I actually felt like he was redeemed, even though I felt like his turn to a bad guy was like flash in a pan. Like it was basically the end of episode 4, and then like that was it. Like the next episode, he was just like there again, just living life, just not as Captain America.
I felt it very much missed the mark. Like, to me, after you bash a head in with a shield, and then go to the point where the new Captain America and Winter Soldier are going, meh, you made it up. I'm like, nah, he didn't make it up. Like, he murdered a man in cold blood. And yeah, I understand that dude wasn't great, and he wasn't, you know, a great dude, but he didn't redeem himself in any way at any point. He didn't even really save those people in the van. Like Falcon ended up saving, or the new Captain America.
Yeah, but it was more the thought, like.
Sure, I get that aspect.
Thought that counts, but I mean, like, it shows that, like, you know, he's not totally, because if he was totally fucked, he would have gone for revenge. He would have just said, that's what's most important here.
But at no point did they make that mark well enough where I wanted to cheer for him rescuing those people. There was never a point in the episode where I was like, yeah, he is a good guy, and I want him to win. It was...
I agree with you. I agree with you there, in the sense that, like, when that happened, I assumed he was going to go after Carly, and I was good with that. But when he decided not to, that's when it was surprising for me.
Yeah, it really missed the mark for me.
But see, I do agree with what you just said before that, where you just said, like, there's nothing, like, there's no reason to want to cheer for him up until a certain point. And, like, I totally agree with that. Like, you know, that's why I found it so redeeming when, like, all of a sudden he did the right thing, when, like, I felt it was so obvious he wasn't going to, like, that he was just going to be like, whatever, like, fuck it, I'm here for one thing.
I would have actually preferred him do the wrong thing. Like, they set it up to be him such a villain that I wanted him to be that villain. And,
me too. I did too.
And, like, he did nothing to redeem himself. There was no quality of him that I was like, oh, he is actually a good dude. Like, even the ending with him and Julia Louis-Dreyfus, whatever her character's name is, Vera, or what the fuck is her name? Val. I didn't feel like he redeemed himself. I feel like Val's just as big of a villain as he is. Like, I feel it's like the next Hydra.
Yes, like, I definitely agree with that. I definitely think,
so, like, did he redeem himself? Because, like, it seems like he may have wanted to do the right thing, but immediately he's, like, teaming up with this villainous Val that, like...
I don't think he thinks that. I think that that's what's up, though. Like, I think she gives enough clues to say that it could go either way, but I think that John feels like he's probably in control there. But
maybe, but, like, even the Winter Soldier aspect of the episode, like, I didn't feel like he got his redemption arc like that I wanted. Like,
it felt rushed to me.
Yeah, like, I really expected to have this, like, emotional punch of him, like, saying sorry to the old Asian man about his son.
That scene plays out so weird, because it's like he walks in and he's like, "Hey, I killed your son. I couldn't control it. Bye." Like it literally lasts like a minute and a half. Like, it's
like, put yourself in the shoes of that old Asian man, and you're like, you told me, A, you killed my son, B, you told me it was part of a Winter Soldier program, and C, that you had no choice. That means nothing to me. I don't know what any of that means. I'm a normal citizen, old man that lost his son, and you're telling me gibberish, basically. Like, there was no emotional impact in that at all.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I mean. The delivery was like lines, like he was just reading lines. It was weird, yeah.
And as well written as the previous 5 episodes had been, and like I felt emotional in several scenes so far in the series, and like for that to be the end of it, I was like, it missed the mark completely for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like they could have done way better with Bucky.
Yeah.
The only person that I feel like really got a good finale was Sam, really. Like,
I agree.
Because like if we talk about, Sharon, like for example, like what the fuck was that mess? Like,
and that was my next point. It was the Sharon aspect that didn't make much sense either.
So Sharon is the power broker, so that doesn't really make that much sense. Or is she not the power broker?
She is the power broker, I assume, but that makes fine sense. I kind of expected that she may be the power broker, but again, they didn't set any of that up. Like, it didn't feel like it was like earned in any way.
See, it's weird that you say that, because to me, this is like the thing that we all saw coming. Like, after last week, I was like, she has to be the power broker. Why would she hire Batroc to kill Falcon?
I agree with that, but my point is like, none of that felt overly developed in a way where I was like, oh yeah,
completely out of left field, because that's what I'm trying to say, is it makes no sense. Like,
it just didn't work.
No, I agree. It's like they forgot to give us some information or something, and it's like,
I feel like there was like an extra episode that was needed to set this episode up and like have the emotional punches of what they were trying to do, and like I think it would have been having like an episode 6 where Sharon's arc was settled and Winter Soldier's arc was settled, and then episode 7 could have focused solely on Sam becoming Captain America, and that would have been a way better series. But it felt like it missed 45 minutes of an episode.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I mean, it's weird because it does kind of wrap a good chunk of the stuff up, and it's like, like, I don't know, it does work, but it just like, it could have been better. You know what I mean? Like, it could have been.
I mean, the Sam stuff was handled really well.
Yeah. It could have gone way farther.
Yeah, I love the Sam's aspect of him having the suit, and it looked badass. Yeah, I would have tweaked the suit a little bit, but like, I think he looked dope as the new Captain America. I liked his fight scenes. I like the arc of him dealing with it emotionally, him going to the museum, all that stuff. Like, I thought it was handled really, really well, and I felt that emotional impact of
me too.
What that meant to him and what that meant to maybe like Black America or Black people in general in the world. Like, that hit me emotionally. I cried during the episode. I thought that was really impactful. But I just really felt like the rest of the episode was handled so poorly that I was like, oh, well, I don't know. Like, it just kind of felt uneven,
Yeah, I agree. I really liked that Isaiah Bradley part.
Isaiah Bradley,
I thought it was really, really well done.
And I messaged you earlier in the week, like, don't let me forget this, and I just remembered it. It's like that what if show that's coming. Like, I want to see Isaiah Bradley of a what if he was Captain America at some point. Like,
they probably won't do it this season because they're already doing that in season 1.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, but it's what if Peggy Carter was Captain America instead of Captain America, and then Steve Rogers is like nerdy Steve Rogers, like he like has like an iron, like kind of like the old Iron Man suit, like the first Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
I mean, I think there's a lot of like cool things to unravel within that universe, and like I hope there's a few what if seasons of like
I'm sure they'll do a bunch.
Yeah, and I think that whole Isaiah Bradley thing should be unraveled, because I think it'd be a very interesting version of the world if Isaiah Bradley was the entire, since Steve went under, he was a new Captain America from 50s on or 60s on.
Yeah. I'm surprised we didn't get a flashback for him because the person who plays him is actually a young person. They actually aged that person up to play him.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. He's like a young guy in old man costume.
Yeah. I mean, I think that means that's inevitable, man.
Yeah, I hope so.
They clearly planned that out so that we could get a young, version of that story.
Imagine getting that story on as a movie, as a show. That'd be so dope. You see him fight Winter Soldier.
I don't know if you saw it, but they announced Captain America 4.
I did see that. Very cool.
Yeah. So,
what do you think the likelihood of seeing Bucky with him is there?
Yeah, I think.
Hopefully.
I mean, they did talk about too of getting a Winter Soldier Falcon season 2, and I don't know what that would include or what that would mean. I think it would be way more interesting to see Winter Soldier season 2, and that include like a new Falcon, which is maybe that soldier dude that was kind of
the last what's his name? I can't remember his name, but yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I think that would be an interesting take, and then have like a Captain America movie that stars Sam.
So have Bucky with that new Falcon.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I honestly, I was hoping that they don't do Falcon, a new Falcon with Captain America, because I'm like, what would be the point of that? It's the same character but way weaker.
Yeah. No, I think the route to go is have the Winter Soldier be the main star of season 2.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Have him have a new sidekick that's doing stuff.
They could call it Winter Soldier and Falcon.
Yeah, just flip it, and honestly, I think that would work perfectly as
that would be good.
Focus more on Winter Soldier than Falcon, or the new Falcon, and really give Winter Soldier a good storyline in that movie, and kind of let Captain America's movie, the new movie, stand alone as a new Captain America movie.
Yeah. I wonder what he'll get up to. The thing is it's hard because, like I said, he's only a human. So it's what do you do with that, right? He's going to be really restricted by the kind of characters he can fight.
My assumption is he's going to get some kind of serum.
Yeah, I'm assuming so too. But
they're going to come up with some kind of new serum or some kind of new thing that gives him some kind of superpower at some point. I can't see that.
Maybe they'll use it to save his life. Maybe he'll get into a battle and die, and they'll have to use something to save him, and the outcome of that gives him super strength and superpower.
Totally can see that.
Right? Yeah,
totally can see that.
Yeah, because I can't imagine him doing it after kind of standing by the fact that he's just a regular guy. He really kind of pushes that, right? He kind of says it in his little speech, and he kind of said I would never take that, right?
Right, and I think that aspect, and then him fighting against Val and whatever his name is, U.S. soldier,
U.S. agent.
I could see that being kind of the villainous aspect of the new Captain America movie, as him trying to redeem U.S. agent or whatever, and then Val, maybe she's running the new Hydra.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Val's probably going to build a Thunderbolt style team, which is bad guys, basically who look like good guys, right? And it's I know it, when we left in this episode, John kind of feels I'm back, I'm doing good. But I feel Val's I've got you wrapped around my fucking fingers. I'm going to play you like a fiddle, and I'm going to take advantage of all the good that I can get from you, kind of thing, right? And I feel because she knows who Zemo is, I feel there's going to be a pretty good chance that he's going to be pulled in as well.
Right, and that was another aspect I wanted to talk about. It was I felt Zemo was extremely underused. He basically had.
I didn't expect him to be. He was put away. I figured we'd probably. What I kind of expected was I thought that we would see an after scene credit where they visit Zemo, not Val visits Zemo in the raft and tries to set up the Thunderbolts. Have we talked about Thunderbolts in any of the previous podcasts? Do you know what that is?
I've heard of it, but I don't know a lot about it.
So basically, when the Avengers go and there's a point where I can't remember. I don't know exactly the full details. So if I'm wrong in any way, I apologize. But the general gist of it is the Avengers disappear for whatever reason. I don't know why. And in lieu of them comes this new team called the Thunderbolts, and basically what they do is they are like superheroes, but they're like actually like villains who like are doing like villainous things and kind of, but like face value, they're superheroes. They're like the new heroes, right? So there's kind of, yeah, so there's like a character for like, there's like, like Dakin, who's like Wolverine's son, plays like a Wolverine, and there's like Matt Gorgon, who is Scorpion, who was also Venom at one point, plays Black Suit Spider-Man. And then there's like I think Zemo is like the Iron Man or something of the bunch or something like that. But basically there's like little rip-offs of everybody, right? Like all the main Avengers.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like I feel like they may be kind of going towards that, where like, Zemo's like, they in this show they kind of introduced that like Zemo has all this money, so like, there's somebody who can now front this, right? Like,
right.
But yeah, and then you have like U.S. agent who's like could like, until he's like fully in it, not even realize that like he's in a super villain group, right?
Right.
So
I kind of just felt Zemo needed to have more of a punch, and like I kind of expected that a villain of his magnitude would have some kind of plan in place that when he got arrested to go to the rack.
The raft.
That's what I meant to say. He would have some kind of plan to escape or like set up like his next step or whatever, right? And the fact that he didn't really show that off, like we got kind of a smirk and whatever, but like I really thought like that was a missed opportunity to really like set up what that character was going to do in the future. And yeah, that may be a part of like the next Captain America movie or season 2 or what have you. But I kind of felt like there needed to be more there to set up like, yeah, he's this like brilliant villain that was going to set up like his next 2-3 steps,
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Like don't get me wrong, like I would have loved to see more. Like he was one of my favorite things about this series, was like I really loved the time we got to spend with him. He was a lot of fun. But like I assumed that once he was kind of handed over, the most we would get was kind of a shot. So like if we would have got more than we got, I would have been surprised. It would have been welcome, but it would have been a surprise.
Yeah. And then, I mean, the whole Flag Smashers thing I thought was handled kind of weakly too. Like,
yeah, well, it's just like at the end of the day, like even after we finish tonight, like my wife's pretty smart, right? She doesn't know like a lot about comics, but like she's especially good with stories, and most times she can kind of catch things like at the very beginning, right? So like at the end, she was like, "So what was the point of the Flag Smashers again? Like, what were they even trying to?" Right. Yeah,
and I kind of agree with that. It's like we never really knew what they were trying to achieve.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Like they wanted equality amongst the people that came back from the blip, and I don't know, them to fit back into society somehow.
That's not even what they wanted. I don't think. I think from what if I have been following it right. What they want is they were part of the people who survived the blip, and then when everyone, so when everybody came back, they got kicked out of all the new places they went to live, and they were against that. They wanted everything to be back where there was half the population.
Right, but I'm saying they wanted equality amongst the people that came back and the people that were there all along. They wanted one harmonious world.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I see what you're saying.
Of everybody, but I never felt like we really knew how they planned to achieve that. Like,
I see what you're saying.
Regardless of whether you blow up this new government unit that wants to, like, whatever, move people or replace people or what have you, they still never really had like a plan in place where they're like, oh, if we just do this, everybody can fit in together. It just kind of seemed like it was like, a politician that comes in and goes, we can solve cancer. You just got to elect me. And it's like, what's your plan to solve cancer? And he's just like, well, just elect me and I'll tell you.
And we'll tell you,
Yeah. Like it just never felt like it was like a real thing. It felt like a 16-year-old running to be, governor of whatever. Like it just didn't really work for me. And like, even the final battle scene, I was just kind of like, we still don't really know what she wants to achieve. The whole Bartok thing, like basically he just gets shot in the head, and I'm like, all right, like that was kind of a weak ending for the character.
Yep, I agree. Yeah,
I don't know. It just kind of felt like very like, well, we got to resolve this. How are we going to do it? All right, let's go. And then it just happened. And it was like, all right, well, that's it.
I think, I mean, the Planet Smashers thing, the Planet Smashers, the Planet Smashers, the best ska band around.
Yeah, fuck. Can't wait to hear them tour in 2023.
The Flag Smashers. That's funny. They were pretty like lackluster in the end, right? And it's just like, I don't know. It kind of felt like both the bad guys were pretty lackluster in this. Both the Flag Smashers and the Power Broker, both were kind of like pretty weak, like either in execution or like delivery. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. They both didn't really.
Well, I just kind of felt like as the Power Broker, she should have had some kind of end game in place, like what she wanted out of it, and like clearly she wanted the super soldier serum from the Flag Smashers. She wanted them to steal it and deliver it to her or whatever, but it just didn't really feel like what her end game was, what she was trying to achieve. Like, it still just seemed like a very vague idea that, you know, no, they don't really need to explain, but it still just didn't really feel like, oh, like I can understand their fight or their argument or whatever. Like, just never really was explained well enough.
Yeah, I agree with you for sure. Yeah, it could have been a lot better. But I heard that's a lot of that comes like from like missing parts of the story because they changed it at last minute with that. Like we talked about it, I think last week about how it was supposed to be about like a pandemic or something, right? Like,
right.
Did we talk about that?
I believe that. Like, I totally think there was parts missing from these episodes, and they pivoted due to the pandemic or pivoted due to, you know, social issues going on in the world right now, and maybe they felt insensitive at some point. But it just like I said, I feel like we're being really negative on the episode, and it's not that I didn't like it. I enjoyed many parts of the episode. It just felt
it's a bummer because it could have been so much better. Like,
right. There's no reason these episodes couldn't be 90 minutes long, 2 hours long. They could have made this episode as long as they wanted to, or they could have made the series with as many episodes as they wanted to, and they chose to make it 6 episodes.
Well, that could also be because of COVID too, though, right?
Sure. I'm not saying it shouldn't, but Disney has infinite amount of money. Yeah. So to me, there's no excuses. If you wanted to be a 7-episode series, you could have made it a 7-episode series. Yeah. If you wanted the last episode to be 90 minutes long, you could have made it 90 minutes long. Like, that's like, to me, like everything going on. They delayed Black Widow 4 times or 3 times, or whatever the fuck it is. Like, if they needed to delay the series, they could have delayed the series. Mm-hmm. It's not an excuse.
I wonder if we'll see any forward movement on John Walker and Black Widow now that we know Val's going to be in Black Widow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think John will be in Black Widow because it's a prequel, so that wouldn't make.
Yeah, I know, but some of it. But what if they ended like the end scene where like Val's with John recruiting people to be part of a new super team or something, right?
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that being a scene. As her setting up like the anti-Avengers type thing. Yeah. Her be the Samuel L. Jackson of the next, you know, anti-hero team or whatever. But
yeah.
I definitely think that she'll play a pivotal role at some point in the Black Widow movie.
Yeah, because we know she shot scenes for it. So I'm assuming, yeah. So I guess we'll see.
It would have been interesting to see if Black Widow would have came out when it was intended to, how that would have interacted with the series. I definitely think clearly it's not big enough to make that much difference, because if it did, they would have said, okay, well, we're going to delay Falcon and Winter Soldier until after Black Widow or whatever. Yeah. Like, clearly it wasn't pivotal, but
that's right.
I'm assuming it was, a 5-minute scene or something.
What if I wonder if it was, and they had to like change it ultimately. Like
maybe it was, some of. I mean, I don't know how you would have reworked it exactly, but maybe some of her scenes was actually intended for that, Black Widow, and they cut it and put it in this.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? I mean, it's hard to know because, like I said, Disney has infinite amount of money, so they can reshoot and redo anything they want to and rework it in any way possible. But, I mean, I think it will be one scene where she'll be in, probably near the end of the movie, that will set up something, and then the after credit scene will set up whatever she's trying to achieve, and that will be the end of it, and we'll get another piece, 6 months down the line in another movie.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be the exact same way they set up Jackson appearing in the end credit scene, setting up the Avengers, first 4 or 5 movies. I think that's what her role will be. I can't see Julia Louis-Dreyfus being in any of these movies as like a main character.
No, I can't either. No, she'll be, like you said, she'll kind of be behind the scenes, pulling the strings.
I love her as an actress, don't get me wrong, but like I just think she'll be doing 5-10 minute scenes in most of the movies she's in.
She's not suiting up.
Yeah, exactly. Did you watch the Shang Chi trailer?
Oh, that was this week. Yeah, I did. I really liked it a lot. It was really good. But before we move to Shang Chi, I have a few more things. What did you think of Sam's speech?
It was good. It was really good. I really liked it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too. The thing I didn't like about it was like when he goes and visits Isaiah Bradley right after, they're like, "Oh, you must have done something right because they're listening to what you said," and I'm just like, it seems like a little much, doesn't it? Like a guy gives a speech in a bird costume, and like all of a sudden the government changes their mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was. Nothing changed overnight, right?
What's that?
Like, I think his reaction to the speech was like, "Oh, you did something right because people are listening," and I think that was
maybe
like a broad look at it. But like, I definitely think like, yes, nothing changes overnight, and I mean, it couldn't have any more resonance as it would this week with like everything that's going on in the States.
Good point.
So
good point. Very good point.
Nothing changes overnight, but I think the more you expand people's minds and the more you give them information and the more media that comes in with, black main characters or black heroes or people of color heroes of any sort, I think that only makes people more accepted to that. And, I don't think that's a bad thing in any possible way.
Yeah, so, that's a good point.
Like his speech, I thought was very moving. That's what made me cry.
I like this. I liked his speech a lot. His speech was really good.
It tugged on my heartstrings. It was well written.
Yep.
And it moved me. And I mean, I agree. Like Isaiah Bradley's like, "Oh yeah, you made everything change overnight, and I accept the Black Captain America now." It's like, well, that's a bit much. Like,
I guess that suffers from the same thing that everything else from this suffers from, which was that it was a kind of rushed. It felt a little bit rushed. Like,
right. I think it would have helped to see like a 6 months later.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
The world kind of celebrating the fact that he's Captain America, and then him visiting Isaiah and them having a conversation of like, wow, like the world has changed in the past 6 months. Like,
it must have been a little bit of time though, because it's not like Sam wins the war and then at night goes and sets up a bronze statue of
right. And I agree, but like we didn't see any of that, right? Like,
yeah. But you know what though, I feel like that this show really suffers. Like, I feel like whoever is like, because like look at when John takes the serum too. We don't know that he even took the serum until like when he bends that pole around the guy's hand, and I'm like, okay, he obviously took it. But like, why wouldn't you show that, or at least insinuate? Like, I know your audience is smart, but like, it's weird to us when we don't see it, and it would only take a second. Like,
I honestly think this should have been like a 9-10 episode season, and they could have fit in a lot more context into what was going on in the world, and like we could have got an entire episode between Sam becoming Captain America and how the world was relating to it and what that did to North
that'd have been great.
All that stuff, like how that changed things, and then have an episode where he goes sees Isaiah Bradley. They go to the museum. They show people's acceptance of the history of what he did for the world and so on and so forth. And then have an episode that's solely focused on Winter Soldier going to rectify all of his past and that emotional impact. And like they could have really took 3 or 4 episodes to resolve all this. And,
but you know what, though? While I do think that it wouldn't hurt to have another episode, I think going into that kind of degree of like level of detail, like would feel a lot like those Netflix shows where it's just like a whole lot of filler. Like I definitely don't even need a whole episode of Winter Soldier crossing names off of his list, because if we didn't spend any time with them, like, I don't care.
Arc of the episode, though. Like,
what's that, sir?
You could have other things happening in that episode.
Yeah.
To break it up. I'm not saying that should be like, here's the episode where Bucky resolves all his issues. I'm just saying that episode could have expanded into like a whole episode where there's other things going on in the world, him dealing with that, him doing whatever, fighting off the Flag Smashers or whatever. Like they could have changed the story arc to fit that narrative of like, okay, this is the episode where Winter Soldier resolves all of his shit. We're going to move the finale 3 episodes down the line so that we give all these characters the right time and development to finish off their storylines before we have the grand finale. And I don't think it would have felt like, oh, this episode's completely filler. I think if you do it in the right way, then the episode doesn't feel like a waste. It feels like, oh yeah, this is important to resolve this character's arc.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think it's in need of a ton more, but like maybe 1 more would have been good, or even like 8 episodes would have been good.
Yeah.
Just so we could kind of get a bit more of a feel. And, maybe that was originally the plan, and maybe they just due to COVID restrictions and COVID, delays and shit like that, they just didn't have the time to fit it in. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, not just that, but like, I've always been of the mind of less is more, and I hate when when a series is 20 seasons long or 20 episodes long and it doesn't need 18 of those episodes.
I agree.
I always agree less is more. So why extend something to 12 episodes if you don't need to? But
I agree with that.
This is definitely a show that didn't need to be 6 episodes. It could have been 8 episodes. It could have been 10 episodes, and I think it still would have worked. And I think you would have resolved a lot of the issues that this episode had. Yeah,
that's probably true to a certain degree. I have to also say that, like, I feel like you probably won't agree with this because of how you spoke about him earlier, but I think that U.S. Agent costume might actually be my favorite costume in the MCU. So fucking good. So good. What's that?
I hated it.
It's so good. It looks just like the comic.
I just thought it looks so similar to the Captain America costume.
It is similar.
I was like, there's zero reason why you couldn't change that up to make it look something different and badass and noticeable. Like
Winter Soldier. It is literally a black and white Captain America.
Yeah, for me, it just didn't work. It wasn't noticeable. It wasn't a noticeable enough difference.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I liked the switch to black. I thought it looked really fucking good. It's seriously, like when I saw it, I was like, oh man, that looks really good. Hopefully they give him a black and red shield too. That'd be dope.
I could barely notice it was different.
I like it a lot. I want to get they're making action figures of him in his blue costume in like the box, like from the episode where he's introduced and there's someone holding a toy of him or whatever, So, like Hasbro made one in the blue Captain America costume, and it has an unmasked head, and it like, I think the likeness is like pretty decent, like for what it is.
Yeah, I saw your post.
Yeah. So, but I don't think the black suit one comes with an unmasked head, and I'm super bummed about it because I really want. It's like I almost want to buy the blue one just to get the.
Yeah.
Head. Fuck.
I mean, it wasn't like I hated it or anything like that, but I just felt like there was an opportunity to do something drastically different that was badass, that looked cool, and I just felt it was similar that like I could barely notice a difference.
Yeah, I quite liked it. I liked the addition of the white on the chest too. It was really nice.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just because my eyes and my vision is so poor that I couldn't really see the difference. But like watching the episode twice, I was like, it looks almost the exact same to me.
Yeah, I think it is pretty close. I think if you didn't have the white stripes on it and you just switched the black to blue, it would be the same. It looks about that anyways. But,
yeah. I don't know. Maybe if I saw like a side-by-side photo, I'd be like, oh yeah, it's different here.
Yeah.
But like, for me, just watching the episode, it looks the exact same to me.
Well, anyways, I liked it. I liked his blue costume too, but I like this better. I like it with the white. I feel like that white really makes it fucking pop.
Yeah.
Looks good.
I mean, overall, like I said, I give the episode a solid like 7 or 8, but it just, there's a few parts that obviously missed the mark, and I mean, I'm excited for Loki. It didn't diminish my excitement.
Bring on Loki. I'll take it.
Yeah. We got a nice 6-week break coming up, so it'll by a month from now, I'm gonna be like, oh man, I can't wait for Loki. I'm gonna be real stoked for it. So
here's a question that someone asked me today, and I had to think about it, how to answer it, and like, I feel like I did answer it, but my mind might change if I rewatched. Which one did you like better, WandaVision or Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Falcon and Winter Soldier by far.
Yeah, I think I do too. I said that, but I said maybe if I watched WandaVision like as one, not as like 30 minutes every week, but like one giant piece, maybe I would like it better. But like having all that time and getting like minimal to no payoff in like 4 or 5 episodes, it's just like it really fucking dragged it out a lot, right? Like
it's not that I didn't like Wanda. There was episodes within Wanda that I think were really awesome. Well done.
Yeah, I agree.
It was that slow drip of information and that slow tease.
Slow burn. Yeah.
Yeah, that dragged it out to a point where I'm like, this is kind of too much. And there was nothing within Falcon and Winter Soldier that I was like, oh, that's a tease that like I don't understand at all. What is going on? Like, it's 2 very different shows, but I'm always going to be on the side of a more action, fast-paced show than I am going to be that slow drama type show.
Yep.
I feel like Falcon just handled the narrative better overall, period, from start to finish.
Yeah.
I would always prefer longer episodes and less episodes than shorter 12 episode seasons or whatever. Like, I want more in a single sitting, and like I wish this was all dropped at once because I would watch the entire series in a day. Like that's how I like to consume things.
Yeah.
If it was a 6-hour movie, I would watch it in one day on my day off and be happy.
Yeah.
And the fact that I have to wait 6 weeks or 9 weeks over to tell a narrative, it just makes it drag out. It makes it annoying in my eyes.
Yeah. I see both sides of it. I guess I think the thing that I like about weekly is it gives me something to look forward to.
Sure.
So I like that part. And I like having a week to like digest it and think about it, which I think is also fun. But I also think is like super frustrating, and I need to learn to like not really go too deep into that because it's like it's so easy to set people up for like to expect big things and get really nothing in return, right? So it's yeah.
I kind of look at it as like there's a show called The Circle on Netflix right now. That's a reality show that I really enjoy, and they drop 4 episodes a week over 4 weeks. So you get 4 episodes weekly, but it's 16 episodes total over 4 weeks.
Right.
And so like weekly I get like basically a 4-hour dose of the show, and then I have to wait a week for the next 4 episodes. And I feel like that's like almost a perfect balance of like, if you want to watch an episode a day, you basically are getting like a new episode every single day. But the way it's broken down is like if you want to stream it or binge it in one day. You can sit down and binge 4 hours of the show in one day, and that's great too. And it's kind of like the best of both worlds. And I kind of feel like that's the perfect balance for one of these shows is like, give us like 2 or 3 episodes a day and then wait till the next week and give us like 2 or 3 more episodes so that if you want to binge 3 hours in a row, you're basically getting a new week.
Yeah.
And that's fun to me. Like that's the balance I want is I want more content, but I keep it at this level of writing, keep it at this level of action. It can't diminish in like, oh, that hour.
I agree. They'll probably eventually work up to that though. Like, this is all still an infancy stage, right? So like sure they'll get to that point, right? Where there's a surplus of good people doing writing for them and a surplus of actors looking for things to do in this universe, right? So
and I totally agree with you. Like, if me and you decided, like, hey, we're going to be the producers of a new television show, it would take us a few years to understand what the right balance is, right? What the right, level of what how many episodes should be in a season? How many episodes do we give out once? Is it a week to week? Is it a binge? So on and so forth. And I think it takes Disney time to understand, like, what is the new media level that we should be delivering a show at? And we have those classic 90s, sitcoms or television shows that was, hey, everything is 24 episodes a season. We have, 12 and 12 split between Christmas and after Christmas. And everything has to be that same length. Everything has to be that same level. And now we're finding the new normal of like, yeah, some shows can be 6 episodes. Some shows can be 12 episodes. There's no rule set,
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, we can go to Shang Chi now. So yeah, overall, I liked the series. It was good. I thought the ending was a little bit weak and a slight bit, maybe not disappointing, but just like, I feel like they could have done just a bit more to make it a lot better. And I feel like there was missed opportunities. But I still overall of Winter Soldier and Falcon, yeah. But well, I agree. I still enjoyed the series. It felt, and the reason I think I picked that over WandaVision is because it felt safer for sure, because it felt like what I'm used to with my MCU stuff. But I think because it's been so long since we've had it, that was extremely welcome to me. Like,
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I think Wanda tried to do something different, which I respect.
Yeah, me too. And I think there's room for both. I
agree.
I lean more towards what I'm used to at this point, right? Because that's really what we got in Winter Soldier Falcon Falcon Winter Soldier is exactly what makes the MCU so awesome, right? It's character development. In this situation, they have more time to do it, which is great because they're good at it.
Right. It was the Winter Soldier 9-hour or 6-hour version of the Winter Soldier. Like, yeah, it was action packed with story development and character development, and that's typical MCU shit. Where WandaVision was a mixture of drama and horror and
just experimental weird stuff. And I think
the longer we get these series and the more Disney does, the more difference we're gonna get. Like, I mean, there's already rumors that Doctor Strange 2 is going to be like more of a horror film than it is.
That's why the director left, because they changed their mind on that apparently. But I see what you're saying, and I think Vanderklick says, have I missed the finale spoilers? Yes, I think so. We're pretty much done.
Well, we went 50 minutes of the spoilers, so yeah,
that's true. We're done. But yeah, I don't know. I thought overall it was good. I liked it. But we should stop talking spoilers now, because if he's in here, and we're pretty much done now.
We go into Shang-Chi trailer because I thought it looked really dope.
Yeah, it did. Sure, it looked awesome. Looked so cool.
I don't know anything about the character. I don't know anything about the comics. I can't tell you much of anything about what's going on. But I really, really, really enjoyed the trailer, and I was like, fuck yeah, it looks like a dope action film with some sweet, like, choreographed action scenes and fight scenes. I'm like, yeah, I'm in.
I have to say, one of the things that I'm really digging on is I like kind of how sometimes Marvel kind of like reimagines some stuff that's like a little bit more dated. Like, so Shang Chi's father is apparently like the Mandarin, like the real Mandarin. Right. And in this, instead of him having 10 rings that he wears on his fingers, they're bangles that he wears on his arm.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's fucking sweet. I love that. I love that.
I like the imagery of it. I like the aspect of like what that could mean. Clearly there's going to be some like mystical aspect to all of it, and like I think that's really cool.
Yes.
But like we also got like this sweet, like well choreographed fight scenes that like I want out of an MCU movie. Like it looked like a martial arts Japanese film. Like it was well choreographed. I loved it. Kind of similar to like something like John Wick or something like that, where I was like, oh yeah, like this is going to be like some cool fight scenes that like maybe brutal. I don't know how hard they're going with it, but.
Vanner Collects is asking about the dragon leak that came out. There was an action figure of this white dragon action figure for Shang-Chi, and a bunch of people are like saying it might be Think Bang Shoot Boom. That's like a giant ass dragon character. I actually don't really know much about him, but one of the
I saw that rumor that he was going to be like the main villain or whatever of the movie.
Of the movie, yeah. So one of the kind of things that I kind of read was that the reason why those rings are bangles is actually because they're rings for his fingers because he's so big.
Right.
So when I heard that, I was like, that's kind of cool. That would be sweet if that was the case.
No, that'd be definitely a cool aspect. I'm down with that. Like I don't know, like I said, I don't know anything about the character, but I definitely think what that trailer showed me, I was like, fuck yeah, like I'm in for this movie.
Yeah. I to answer his question about that, because I don't know anything about the character, like I don't really have any thoughts on it. Like if he shows up, that's cool. I don't think that that's what that is. I think that that's just like a generic toy. Like that's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, I really just want like a good action film, and it doesn't have to be like anything revolutionary. It just has to be something that's well done and fun to watch. Like I was telling you before we came on, like I just watched the Mortal Kombat movie, the new Mortal Kombat movie, and like it's not something that I would say like, oh yeah, if you know nothing about Mortal Kombat, you're gonna enjoy this action film, because you're probably not. The fun of the movie is going to be,
you're like,
I recognize that character. I recognize what they're doing with that or whatever. But I really enjoyed the aspect of like, this is just like an over the top, violent, fun action film that I can enjoy. And like, I kind of hope Shang-Chi's is kind of the same thing. It's like, it doesn't have to be violent necessarily, but just something that's fun to watch. It's like, oh, that was a really fun action film that like,
I really hope it doesn't suffer the same as every single MCU. That's my only critique on the MCU is it's like every origin story is exactly the fucking same. It's the same thing over and over and over. And don't get me wrong, they're fine. They I mean, at least they're telling a good story, so that's fine. But it's just, I would love to see this be something different, right? So
yeah, I get that. And like,
like Black Panther was the same as Captain America, as Iron Man, as Captain Marvel, as
I mean, I thought personally Black Panther was the worst of all of them, but that was because I just expected it to be a really, really solid Black Panther movie, and it wasn't that at all. It almost had nothing to do with Black Panther.
While I agree that like I didn't think it was like anything like totally revolutionary or anything, but I liked it, but I just felt like the story had been told. Like, I don't know. Like, I just felt like we had already heard the same story, right? It's just like, we're back to the villain we're fighting is just us, but like it's the bad version, and it's just like Iron Man and Ironmonger and Cap and Skull and Thor. And
I mean, I'm kind of curious to see where they'll go with Wakanda next. Like,
me too.
After this, after we didn't really get a hint of like where Wakanda stands, what they're going to do with Black Panther or any of that. And obviously, I mean, they probably don't even know themselves because they haven't started filming the movie. But I'm excited to see where that all heads.
Me too. Be interesting to kind of see where they take it. To go from being about one person, I mean, it was about Wakanda too, but like, focused around one person. And yeah.
I mean, I think they definitely could tell like a very emotional story of the impact of losing Black Panther, and then like them choosing the next Black Panther, and what that means to them as like a country or whatever, a society or whatever you want to call it. I think that could be like a very emotional gut punch and very well done, and kind of similar to what it means to choose a next Captain America that is Black.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
It kind of similar undertones, but like I definitely think they could go in a very interesting direction with that, where I hope it's done well and I hope it's written well and has that gut punch of, emotional impact. But I thought the Shang Chi trailer was really good and made me really excited for a movie I knew nothing about. So it did its job, and I think it's a missed opportunity that the trailer didn't drop right after the finale of this. That was like the very end scene of like the trailer or the credits or something like that on this is like, hey, you watched the entire series of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like, here's the next trailer for Shang-Chi. And then, maybe at the end of Loki, like, here's the trailer for the Eternals. I think that's the route to go. And like, obviously it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. It's going to get millions upon millions of views regardless. But I think that's an interesting way to keep making people hang on to tease what's next, hang on to stick around to, the credits or whatever to see what's happening the next thing. And I don't know. I enjoy that aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I'm the same as you. I don't really have any history with Shang-Chi, to be honest with you. He's not even one of the names that like I remember from when I was into the trading cards and stuff like that. Like, I don't think he was super relevant at that time. I might be wrong, but like, I was very into all of those trading cards from, multiple years, probably a good 3 or 4 year stretch. And like, I don't recall ever getting a Shang-Chi card ever, I don't think, or even seeing that character, right? So like my knowledge about this character is literally nothing. And it's like, so like, to me, I'm always excited for MCU because I know they're going to do good, but like, it's like Eternals. Like I don't follow Eternals. So like, I'm not super excited for Eternals at this point. When they put out a trailer, I'm sure it's going to be great. Then I'm going to jump in, right?
We're on the same page. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, after Guardians, I accept anything they want to do.
Yeah.
I feel like they know what they want to achieve, that they have a rhythm. They know the right directors and writers and actors to put in place. And I'm totally accepting of that. I'm like, yeah, do what you're going to do. And I expect quality, and I expect that I'm going to enjoy it. And so far, they've basically hit it out of the park. So just go do what you want to do, and I'll enjoy it.
You're in.
I mean, it's sad that, like, literally a week and a half from now, we would have got Black Widow, and now we have to wait another 2.5 months for it. But there's a 6-week break now going, and we, kind of touched on it last week that we're going to change our focus for the next 6 weeks and kind of change it up and not focus on MCU and do, we're going to touch on music, we're going to touch on movies, we're going to touch on live music, stuff like that over the next 6 weeks. But I hope people keep coming back and watch the episodes because, we want to keep this going. And
the music one should be funny because it's like even the music one should be funny because even though we have a lot of similar tastes, I think our favorites are probably relatively different. So it should be.
I don't think we're going to have a single album in the same.
Yeah, I'm going to probably agree with you on that. So
I was talking to my dad about it on the way home from work one night, and I said like I was having a really hard time breaking into a top 15 albums, which is kind of a top 10 with 5 honorable mentions, but basically a top 15. And yeah, I very much like was saying, like, I don't think Matt will have a single same album in his top 10, top 15.
We're pretty different. I mean, we like a lot of the same music, but I don't think it's the same like that. I think it's different too, right? Like you're still pretty into music. I'm not really into music anymore. Like, don't get me wrong. I never don't have music on or a podcast on or something. I'm always listening to something, but like, you know, I'm past the days where I'm like looking for new bands. Like I got enough bands to keep me occupied for years to come. So, you know, that's where I'm at. But like, so a lot of my stuff is like from when I was a big music head, right? And it's, you know, I would say most of it's pretty time frame specific. You know,
yeah,
I'm not one for like classic albums and shit.
I don't think Matt's albums will air anything else between like 1997 and 2003.
Yeah, like that sounds probably about right. Maybe a little later than 2003. Maybe like
2005. Like, yeah, I think Matt's albums will fall into a very, you know, decade-long category of like, this is what he enjoys and this is what he loves still.
You're going to get a pretty good feel for the person that I am based on the music that I listen to.
Yeah. Where my albums will kind of span decades worth of music, but
yeah,
the best part about music is neither is wrong, neither is right. Like, depending who you are, you're going to relate to albums or not relate to albums.
Yep.
And that's cool. That's a part of art, and I enjoy that. So, yeah, that will be the next 2 episodes. Will be our top albums, and then we're going to bounce into a few other things: top movies, top live concerts we've been to, stuff like that. Over the next 6 weeks, I'm going to do some streaming on YouTube. If you follow my YouTube channel, I'm going to do some streaming of video games over the next 3 or 4 weeks. Doesn't matter if you don't enjoy it or do enjoy it or whatever. I'm going to do it regardless. It's stuff I'm going to be playing. I'm excited for. So if you are interested in video games, come on by. Drop a message or two.
What days are you doing that? Do you know? You don't.
I'm going to do it before the episode. So I'm going to try to keep doing it on Fridays.
Oh yeah, but I mean, are you going to do the video games on another day, or are you going to do?
No, I'm going to do it before we do the episode live episode.
Oh, I see.
So I'm gonna probably try between like I would guess between 8 p.m. and midnight Eastern.
Your time, yeah.
My time. I'm gonna stream and then I'm gonna jump off and then I'm gonna do the podcast at 1 a.m. with you.
Gotcha.
So that's my plan at least, and you know, follow us on Moonsmelt Media on Instagram. I will message or put a post up about that, and obviously follow Matt.
Don't follow me. It's not worth your time.
It's only
unless you like full frontal nudity. I'm just kidding.
That'd be great too. I mean,
Instagram has a problem with that.
The only Instagram you should be following is Matt's, but
it might look like I have a beard, but it's actually just Instagram censoring me because I have balls all over my chin.
That's true. That is accurate. I've seen him in person. We've been friends for 20 years. I know.
I rubbed them on his face.
He pins me down and he's like, look. It's great. I'm so looking for it.
So next week is music, so that'll be pretty fun. And like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm still working on my list, so yeah, it's like Ryan said, it's fucking hard to get it down to 10. It's fucking hard.
Anybody that loves music, it's very, very hard to choose a top 10
especially
album.
when you loved it for such a long time, right?
Well, in that, like, I'm trying to do as much as I possibly can, so I'm not doing multiple albums by the same band.
I'm going to make a rule where it's just one album per band. For me, that's what I'm going to do, because I don't want to, because, like, you know, I'm a huge Blink fan, right? So, like, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's like I always try to just keep like a favorite album is like one. Yeah, I always have like a favorite album from artists, but with my favorite bands, it varies day to day.
My rule is only one album per band, and the album has to be perfect to me. There's no dud songs. There's no filler. Yep. It's a 5-star album in my opinion. So.
Yep. I think there's usually one or two albums on my list that break that rule by like, you know, like a song or something. Like, But yeah, because like, you look at something like, I really love self-titled Blink, right? But like, I could do with like a couple of,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll listen to
For
them,
me-
it's fine, but it's like, they're not really my fucking jam, right? But
For me, it's only perfect albums.
oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna be right. But that'll be next week. And
Part one.
we should probably
Part
end this
one.
because we're at 7 minutes.
Part one. What's that? I said part
What's
one.
it? Yeah, part one. We'll be doing it over 2 episodes.
Yeah,
it looks
'cause
like
it's too much.
our time restraint is over. Like, it doesn't look like Instagram's pushing us to
Kicking you
over
off
6
anymore.
minutes. But we're gonna break it up over 2 episodes just to give.
Well,
I
we
don't
have
want to
6
make.
weeks. We have 6 weeks too, right? So it's like, it'd be good to, and I feel like that one's good because if people like the first one, then maybe they'll jump into the second one.
That, and I like to respect people's time. I think putting a 3-hour episode out is ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. That's a bit much.
I don't want to make that as a normal thing. Is making people listen to a 3-hour episode is ridiculous. I'd rather 60 minutes. That's perfect length. You can listen to that on the way to work, on the way home from work, on your breaks, whatever, going on for a jog, going to work out, whatever. Like, it's a normal length of things where you can listen to an hour and be fine. But when you start asking people for 3 hours a week, it's too much. So
yeah, I agree with that.
But anyways,
it's like your theory on a TV show with 25 episodes per season.
Exactly. Less is more.
Yeah, I'm not watching that many. Just by default, I'm not watching 180 episodes or something.
1000%. Let's end it here.
Okay.
So thanks for watching. Follow us on Instagram, on fucking YouTube, on Twitter. Follow us. Follow at Customs by Matthew. Follow
Still playing
Media.
with crotches.
If you want that kind of content, only follow it. I'm not gonna play with crotches.
That's what he says. He's a fucking liar.
Well, as the people that wanted my attention on in a private message about possible commercials we could do for the podcast. I mean,
oh yes, commercials would be funny, man. Ah, fuck, that'd be so funny.
I'm not going to say their name, but I got a private message on Instagram about a possible ad I could roll for this, and
no.
I think it was fake, and I think it wasn't real. I'm not going to say the name of the company just in case it was real, but it's definitely not something I was interested in. But let me know. I'll tell you it had something to do with crotches.
Yes. I need to know all about that.
But anyways, thank you for watching as always, and I will see you next Friday.